I forgot to press go live.
Okay.
Can you imagine we got like 10 minutes into the show and I'm thinking, there's anybody watching? Oh, Jesus. It started already. Yeah, right, here we go. Try again. Oh. It's just buffering. I don't know if we're live or not.
Do you want me to do it?
It's just
scheduled on my screen.
Do you want me to do it?
Live yet?
It's not gone live here. I'll do it here, Paul, if you want.
Having trouble connecting. Please check your... Hang on 2 seconds, Billy.
There you go, we're in. We're live. Give some music.
We're live. Welcome. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the tune review for tonight's match review. We do apologise for the start there. It was saying we weren't connected. Billy then connected us, and I got no idea what happened there. All I know is we're live now. That is the main thing. So welcome, everybody, and I hope everybody's having a splendibulous week. Obviously, with Newcastle United beating the Skip Rats yesterday 1-0. Was just a beautiful occasion. So we will get into that, of course. Danielle's been on a posh work do today, so she's all glammed up. Billy's got a posh shirt on, and you know, Alex is not in the know tonight, and I've got Alex's mum's favourite yellow shirt on. So you know, it's a joyous occasion.
It is.
And I got some new fishing today in the background, very posh fish. So yeah,
today's a good day.
Well. It's a good day to celebrate a win over Everton any day, to be fair. And those of you that didn't catch my video earlier on today, a lot of you have, so thank you very much. We've had tremendous views on that video regarding a little bit of a bust up in the tunnel at half-time between T-Rex and Kieran Trippier. Apparently, as Jim Rosenthal puts it, they went eyeball to eyeball. I think that's a little bit difficult, wouldn't you say, to go eyeball to eyeball with someone? I mean, you know, you're in very close proximity, aren't you, when you go eyeball to eyeball with people? But there you go. Right, we'll go through a couple of comments before we get into the juicy bits. Peter, well, it's not Peter Griffith. I'd love to know what his name actually is. What a win. Saw an Everton fan yesterday saying we're not even that good, even though our last home loss was April last season. We bossed it even without Maxi and Isak, and Everton are just dreadful. How are the lads? Billy's number one fan, Mary. As a side, Newcastle continue to grow and develop and strengthen, and regardless of the media or rival fans, it is what you see on and off the pitch that will define your team long term. Solo, good evening. Great win for the team. Good cameo from Anderson, and has to start against Spurs. Give Murphy a rest as he looked a little leggy against Everton. Michael, good evening to you. Keith says, I've been supporting Newcastle since the 70s and cannot remember any time the team spirit has been any better. The back four hugging each other at the end shows this so much. That was pretty special, wasn't it? I mean, you know, the four of them, Nick Pope as well actually got in there, the back four and the goalkeeper, all were beaming smiles, Danielle.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we talked about in the last review about Botman and Shaw and their partnership, and I think the cat's trying to headbutt the laptop, which is why the screen's shaking. So sorry about that. Don't know why she does it. It's so annoying. But yeah, you know, they're now growing into the best centre back partnership in the Premier League by far. And obviously we've got the best defensive record. So good on them. It's lovely to see. It's great to see. It's everything we've wanted. And absolutely buzzing that we got the 3 points against the Skip Rats. Get in there.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say some of the Everton fans' behaviour after that game last night was absolutely disgusting. You know, kids with their parents having to run away because they were, you know, doing all sorts, and shame on you. shame on you. And you just proved why we call you the Skip Rats, to be honest. Absolutely dreadful behaviour. Kungle Fox has had a Scouser, nice picture from Kungle there. Had a Scouser abusing a kid behind me on the walk to the station. Monkey bunch. And don't get me started on Claire Bolden. I mean, Anthony Gordon. Good evening, Gary. Tom says, evening everyone, another game with Jurassic Parkford wound up. Scouse Mackems on their coaches after the match, phones up at the window saying oil nonsense. Pathetic, but funny for us to see. Listen, it's all they've got. It's all they've got, to be honest. George, good evening. Evening, lads and lasses. Did anyone see the video of Miggy being swung around like a rag doll? Who was the bloke who did it? It was outside the dressing room, wasn't it, when they came back to the dressing rooms? Anybody know who it was?
No.
Well, he looked like security, didn't he?
Yeah, something to do with the club, I guess. But yeah, it was quite funny, that. Pedro says, a very good Thursday evening to you all, you beautiful hosts. Mark, evening all, onwards and upwards. Gary says it was actually one of the security guys. Yeah, so there you go. Up the A1, nice to see you guys last night. Evening, Paul, Danielle, Alex and Billy and TTR family. Another great result last night. It was good to speak again, Paul, after the match. It certainly was. Everyone was on a high. Pedro says, I was watching an Everton fan channel before and they were doing their nut with Gordon, saying he was a disgrace and diving all the time. I mean, what did you make of him, Alex? £60 million player in your book?
Well, no. I mean, is there the potential for it? I mean, you could argue.
Well, I didn't see any potential last night. He was absolutely garbage.
I mean, there were moments where he would receive the ball from a long ball or a goal kick, and he would sort of pick it up quite quickly, good first touch, and try and make a drive and run. I think that I was saying this yesterday that I think that whole diving situation, I think that lost his head more than ours. I think he was trying to create a scene and rock some of our players. And in actual fact, all he did was lose his own head, and then he was making poor decisions, decision making, whether to run left or right, or knock it past his man, or when to pass, when to run. He was all over the shop after that dive, and after trying to headbutt Trippier. He shouldn't have been on the pitch anyway. But he's definitely got some raw talent, but it's very raw, and it's because of their situation. From relegation last year, everything just fell down the pan. They've had to, somewhat fast track him. I think he's far too raw to be playing all the time. Or especially getting all the minutes he's getting and all the plaudits he's getting and the price tag. He looks too raw. He needs managing better, I feel. Maybe it's not necessarily Lampard's fault. It depends on their strength and depth. They need to try and keep the club afloat and stay in the Premier League. But I feel like if we had him, he wouldn't be playing anywhere near as many minutes, or he would be managed very differently. I don't want him anyway because, I don't like his attitude at all. Or his diving.
Well, I mean, look, Kieran Trippier, they'd obviously said something in the dressing room beforehand about keeping an eye on his diving and stuff, because as soon as he did it, Kieran Trippier went over to have a word with him. And I just love the way he starts mouthing off at Trippier, and then Cher comes in like an absolute tank and just pushes him 3 times, and it's like, get the hell away from my captain. And then Nick Pope comes in, and then it just all melee breaks up. I mean,
it's the squaring up with his head. It wasn't a headbutt, but when you start pushing your head into someone's face, you should be off. 3-match ban, get off. We don't want that.
Agree.
Now, I have heard some pundits saying that Joe Linton was lucky to be on the pitch last night. Billy, I don't know what you made of it on the watch along. He gets a yellow card, and then it was a bit of a reckless second tackle. And we were all sort of hearts in our mouths thinking, wow, has he got away with one there? And obviously he got injured just before half time as well. So I think that gave Eddie an excuse to make the change.
Yeah, it was very close to having the yellow card for that. I think he would have got a yellow for it had he not already been booked. But at the end of it, it cost us because Gordon did 3 or 4 that he should have been booked for. Calvert-Lewin elbowed someone in the face after being booked.
Yeah.
He also shot when he was offside, whistle blew. He kicked the ball away, didn't get booked for that. But Joe Linton's second tackle was a yellow card. Had he not been already yellow carded, I think. Yeah, he was clumsy, very clumsy. And I think the injury hampered him a little bit towards the end of the first half, didn't it? He was
I don't think Joe Linton was fit yesterday. I don't think he was fit. He had a lot of strap. That tape strap, and he had his I think it was his right leg, quite heavily taped up. So I'm not sure he was 100% yesterday. We're getting an awful lot of comments saying, yes, you're live. So I don't know whether it was just at our end, but we were live. But there you go. It's one of them things.
Does
anybody else think that Calvert-Lewin tackle was a red?
Yes.
Yes. I've seen it again today.
Nobody's
I
talking about
haven't
it.
seen anything yet.
Because he went in from behind and didn't get the ball. And in my eyes, if you're going to take that risky, if you're going to try and slide tackle from behind and you don't get the ball, off.
And scissored as well, scissored the feet as well. So it was all those things that we don't want to see.
I think he's very lucky to stay on. I thought that was a lot worse than people seem to have thought.
Yeah, definitely. Noxie says, what a win and what a player Miggy is. I bet Grealish will be crying listening to the Backstreet Boys. Come on, the Mags. Answers hi, all great result. Jody Rick says, I did a Pickford. Well, it's not my fault. It's technology. You know what I mean? If it tells me I'm not live, how the hell do I know I'm live? It said the same on all of our screens. So, just one of those.
Scheduled. I didn't say live.
Yeah. Mike says, did anyone else notice the number of players slipping over? Wilson, Botman and others. The pitch could explain muscle injuries. Look, I have to say, from where I was sitting yesterday, considering there was a rugby match last weekend, the pitch looked incredible, by the way. Now, there were heavy watering it quite heavily again. But, that's what Eddie will have asked for.
I mentioned this at Brentford, didn't I, to you?
You did. But again, it was heavy watering at half time as well. So I don't know whether
we were passing inside. We want the ball zipping off the turf. That's how we play. And that's the team that lump it high don't get the same kind of benefits we do out of it. That's for certain.
I mean, look, the first half, the football we played was quite sensational. Actually, it was some of the one-touch football, the back heels. That moment leading up to Bruno's first effort that he sort of squandered just wide. Had that gone in, that was one of the goals of the season.
Definitely.
Nobody could argue with that.
Goal of the century, that would have been one of the
great superb.
That reminds me of old school Arsenal when they had Santi Cazorla, when Wilshere was good, when they used to do the little intricate build-ups, and it was very aesthetically pleasing to watch. That we're starting. I said at the time to my family because it was on Amazon this time. Thank God, we could all watch it, and I was like, oh my God, we're actually really good at football. Like, we're not just a good team, we're really good at football. One touch stuff was just incredible. I
mean, look, it was brilliant, and Bruno just skewed that shot wide, didn't catch it right. And then he had another one a couple of minutes later, which was a very clever little left foot shot that he just tried to bend in the cut. And that wasn't far away, by the way. That was creeping in. And then Danielle, the moment comes, the little man again cuts it. A good move again from Newcastle United. Yeah. Played back to Miggy on the edge of the box. Joel, I think it was Bruno, just sort of rolled it to him. And as soon as he hit it, I said, Pickford's not getting that. Yeah. He's just not getting it.
Definitely. I was really happy he didn't overhit it, because I felt like that could have gone one way or the other. But for me, when that were going in, I thought, we're battering these. Like, I really thought, like, this is going to open the floodgates, and we're going to start, like, we're going to go in half time, like 2, 3, 4.
We should have been, to be fair. We should have been.
But yeah, I mean, Miggy, what a player. What a player. I mean,
and we had that effort from Murphy in the first 10 minutes, of course, when he cut in and just blazed over. Miggy had another one in the second half, just over the top. And of course, we almost scored with Anderson later on. Second half wasn't great. I think we got a bit leggy. But look,
they couldn't create anything. Everton, they couldn't do anything with it. So they had possession, but they couldn't do anything with it. Where we were getting tired, I think.
It's like Lampard said. Lampard even said it. That they were coming through the midfield in the second half. I think we missed Joe Linton. It was clear to see, and they were coming through the midfield. But they were getting to that final third, and they couldn't get through us. We stayed so disciplined and so tight knit again that they can't find that killer pass. And it was destroying them, because they were getting frustrated because they just couldn't find a way through. And again, Fabian Schär, just outstanding. And then he goes and hits one of the passes of the season last night. I don't know if you guys can remember it. He was deep in our half on the right-hand side, and he blazed a pass across to Elliot Anderson all the way up the other end of the pitch on the other side. It was just a glorious
only one in corner,
pass.
Wasn't it, I think?
Yeah. Just incredible performance again. And again, he, got a couple of head injuries, but he's up and then we thought he'd done his hamstring, in the Gallagher
again.
end.
Yeah.
And then he does a couple of hops and then he starts sprinting back. The man is a machine. He is a machine.
Mm-hmm.
But look, there was, I don't think everybody, I mean, Bruno seemed to be back to himself yesterday. Bruno was just influential again. But Sean Longstaff for me is just not, and I said to the guys after the game last night, I said, Sean is there to do a job at the minute. We know he's not as good as the other players around him, right? And he's doing a job, and that's fair enough. But 7 times I counted last night, he passed the ball straight to Everton players. Really poor passing. And against maybe a stronger side, they would have punished us. There was twice that he gave the ball away that led to Everton breakaways, and it could have been worse. Now, I think he was much leggy early doors in that match than the other players were. But, I guess he's there to do a job and he's doing it. But,
you've got to remember how physical that Everton midfield are. They're not the same. This is what we mentioned in the preview. They're not the same team. They got Idrissa Gueye back, who is a very, very decent player. Onana, despite being a strange diver, considering how massive he is.
Honestly, that was getting on my nerves last night.
Iwobi is good. They've said he's converted into a tidy sort of ball winning midfielder, and he is. He was playing some line splitting passes. He was physical. So they've got 3 very big lads in midfield. And Longstaff was struggling with the physicality. To be fair, Joe Linton was struggling with the physicality.
Yeah, he was.
I think more of it was down to, I think he's missing not having Target and Maxi. I think him having Byrne and Murphy is not doing Joe Linton any favors at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I think we've got to put some respect on their midfield.
In midfield is only going to get tougher. It's not going to get easier.
Absolutely, of course it is.
Well, no, it'll be different. Everton, as you mentioned, there was no creativity. Because they didn't have it. Iwobi was the only one with any decent sort of line splitting passes, and Lampard took him off, which was ridiculous. Because Iwobi was the only one playing dangerous passes, in my opinion.
I found this
not all teams will
a
have
little bit
3,
strange.
Massive ball winners like that. Most teams will have it balanced out, and Longstaff won't struggle as much necessarily, and Joe Linton won't struggle with it. Teams have different balances, and at the moment, Lampard's just gone for. You've got to remember Lampard's pedigree of who he played with. He likes John Obi Mikel and Essien in midfield. He remembers that, and he's gone for 3 absolute massive, guys in midfield. It's probably just maybe his style, maybe who he's been able to get hold of, but. I agree. Longstaff wasn't good enough, but you've got to remember that was an uncharacteristically difficult physical midfield. We're not going to come up against that. I mean, who else in the league's got a midfield like that? Not really anybody, to be fair. We're the only other people with the meaty midfield like that.
Listen, I just think he's too slow. I think not just with his legs, but with his football and brain as well. He's not up to the level. You see Joe Willock come on and have an absolutely fantastic second half. Some of those runs he was making last night were just brilliant. The one he got on, if you remember, he got it on around about midway through the half on the left-hand side and cut through 2 Everton players. It broke away.
That was brilliant. That was.
Really
Joe
good.
Willock has got that in his game, and we know he has because he's done it in the last few games. And I just think, the problem is when Willock plays, it sort of sends Bruno back when Joe Linton's there. But whether Joe Linton's going to be fit for Sunday, I mean, can you see any changes, Billy, for Sunday? Do you think you'll make quite a few?
It's a hard one to kind of think about. I think he will. Yeah, I think he will. I don't think Joe Linton will be fit. I'll be fair, if I'm perfectly honest. I think that Willock will come in for him, play on the left like he did against Brentford and Fulham. And I think he might bring Chris Wood in also for Wilson. I think he might rest him.
I mean, Joe Linton did, when they were showing the players coming back to the dressing room, Joe Linton was limping quite heavily. Does he risk it? Does he not? I don't think he does risk Joe Linton, to be honest.
I don't think he does. No.
Listen, Tottenham aren't all that, right? I'll say it now. They're not all that. Man United made them look very, very average last night. And, we've just come away from Old Trafford, possibly could have got 3 points there, and we are now up to a level where we are now challenging these teams. we are giving these teams a game. And for me, it doesn't matter who's on that pitch for Newcastle United at the minute. They're all drilled the same way.
Absolutely.
And defensively, we are drilled incredibly well, considering when Eddie Howe first came in, we're all getting told, oh, you know, he can't manage it. He can't coach a defense. Well, look at the improvements we've had in the defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cher's always been a good player for me. Botman is just a class apart. You know, he's keep going with Dan Byrne at left back. You know, and Kieran Trippier, well, he's Trippier. You know what I mean? He looked absolutely exhausted, by the way, in the first half. And Leon, who sits next to me, and George, obviously, in front, we were just worried that he was carrying a bit of a knock. But he played the whole game. So
if you're watching on TV, the camera kept showing his face close up, and he was just, it was like wincing, but permanent wince just all the time.
That's what we noticed. And he came to take a corner in the first half, and normally sort of he jogs quite quickly to take it, but he was just walking to the corner flag, and I thought, yeah, that is a bit weird. But he played the full game, and I imagine if there was something wrong with him, they would have took him off, because they're not going to risk a long-term injury for Kieran Trippier. You know what I mean? So. And did everybody
maybe he's picked up a bit of that illness that's been going around the camp?
Well, that's
maybe
a possibility.
He's just not feeling himself.
That's why a few of them could have looked leggy. Maybe they were just feeling this bug that's going around.
He's got to play Tottenham. Who plays instead?
Exactly.
We haven't got anyone else.
We haven't got another right back.
He was getting forward as much as he always does, and he was still in the right place.
Yeah. You know. I mean, there was a few times again, first half, you know, I had Miggy. The one thing about Miggy is just, I wish he had a right foot, because there was a couple of times in the first half he was played in, you know, those little integrate passes by Bruno, just clipping them over the defence. And the opportunity's there to play it in with your right foot. And he didn't a couple of times. He spun back on his left. He tried it once with his right foot, which I think went out for a corner. But do you know what? Miggy is just a different player this season.
He come alive, hasn't he?
It's just amazing what a bit of confidence does for you. And the fact that he's now striking the ball so much better. You know, remember he used to shoot and it would end up at the corner flag or down in hit the bar in the strawberry. You know, it's like he's just confident now taking shots on. He's not afraid, and he wants to take players on. He wants to combine with everybody else, and it's brilliant to watch. Mark says, today is a good day to go fishing in Paul's tank. No. Tony says, love the T-Rex flag carrier. Yeah, that was brilliant. That was absolutely superb.
Did he get thrown out, though?
Yeah, he got told off. But we saw him in the first half as well. He was at the Leazes in the first half as well. So it
was brilliant when he had goalkeeper gloves on.
Yeah, it was class. Absolutely class. But that flag before the match, guys, I mean...
Huge, isn't it?
It's weird being under it, man. It is weird. You know, you can see through it, but it's weird. You know, you got all these like thousands of people under this flag, and it's just bizarre. Ab says, am I the only one who thinks J7 was okay-ish? It wasn't his best game by a long shot, but if he was carrying a knock, that would explain it. But look, the first half we were awesome. I think we controlled the game. But there was definitely something in the legs that went a little bit in the second half, and Everton did push, but they had one shot which wasn't on target in the whole game, which is why I kind of laughed at Lampard when he said they should have got a point or they deserved a point. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. We had how many shots?
And you've got to have a shot on target to deserve any points.
Exactly. So that I was astounded by that. But listen, he's going to say that as the opposition manager, isn't he?
He thought the Claire Baldwin Swan dive was a penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Wow. I
mean, I've seen a few idiots today saying it was a penalty, but it just wasn't.
Was it Nickers?
Nickers to it. Someone on Facebook, I'm not sure who that is. Ben was chuffed he got to say hello to you last night, Paul.
Oh.
Actually, yes, I do remember. Yeah. I hope he enjoyed the match, because I know he was excited. Tom says, I saw two Everton fans before the match walking up with a KFC. One of them in broad scout says to the other, stop nicking me chicken, la. Stop nicking me chicken. Wagner, I would like to know what you all think about Calvert-Lewin's tackle. Yeah. I thought that was very clearly a red card. It was. The more you see it. By the way, guys, he was not fit last night. Calvert-Lewin.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, we were when we saw the team sheet come out and Everton's team sheet, we saw Calvert-Lewin was there. We thought, oh wow, you know what I mean? He's starting. He's gonna really test our back line, but he just wasn't fit.
He didn't have any support. I think he made some good runs. He's definitely a better player than people seem to give him credit for. I think people just, bad talk him because of his injuries, but his movement was pretty tidy. He's just not fit at all.
He's just not fit. He
no service. And they kept crossing it as soon as he came off. He got substituted off, and then they started crossing it.
I know it was very bizarre. I mean, they brought on Mopé, who's about 3'2", when they start crossing it. But listen, Nick Pope commanded his area brilliantly last night, I have to say. All these balls that Everton were trying, playing them through over the top or down the channels, Nick Pope was out like an absolute bullet. And it must be so comforting if you're a central defender and they try and play through you like that, yet you've got your goalkeeper just sweeping everything up, because that was frustrating Everton as well.
He shielded it out for a throw-in at the top end once.
When he did that in the second half, we thought that ball wasn't going to roll out, but obviously it just managed to creep over the line. But it was just the way he stuck his big arse out. And do you know what it is? He's got the funniest running style, Nick Pope. If you watch him when he's running, he's very bandy-legged. He's sort of. But listen, he commanded his area. Any cross he came for yesterday, caught no problem. He looked back to his full confidence. And I think because of who was at the other end, given that all eyes were on the two England goalkeepers last night, I think he came out of it with flying colours again. He didn't have a save to make. Apart from
he's got the best defence in front of him, hasn't he?
Well, he has.
So,
I mean,
you've got to look at it like that as well.
But all of the five of them, Danielle, they've got such an understanding now.
Yeah.
They just, even when we were sort of 1-0 up into the second half, I'm not thinking anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but when we used to capitulate and you knew a goal was coming or an equaliser or a winning goal was coming, I don't feel like that anymore. I mean, Billy, I don't know about you watching it on the watch along, just seeing the way we defend, it just fills you with so much confidence that you can hang on to a 1-0 now.
Yeah, I felt under no threat whatsoever. They never looked like scoring. Indeed, they didn't even look like they were trying to score. They were still passing the ball back in the 96 minutes from centre forward, centre half to centre half to centre half to James Garner, back to centre half. They had no intention of trying to score a goal, because I think if they knew if they opened up, they were going to get another one past them. So, yeah, strange tactics from Everton, but I mean, our lads at the back had them all in the pocket, didn't they? Let's be perfectly honest. No creativity.
Well, yeah, but isn't it great that even though we're not right bang on our game in the second half, we're still winning games. We're still picking points up. It's sort of, I mean, going to Old Trafford, we got a point at Old Trafford. We took a point off Manchester City. We should have taken more at Liverpool if it wasn't for disgraceful decisions. So we're playing these top teams, and we look just as good. We look so comfortable. And the league table's proven that at the minute. I mean, we were saying before the game last night, Alex, that if we stay where we are, around position 6 to 8, coming into the World Cup break, the transfer window basically starts not long after. We could get a few players in and really make a push for Europe this season, which I think is a season earlier than possibly the owners were even thinking themselves, because the team and Eddie Howe are surprising everybody, literally everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we should have Maxi and Isak back for January as well. And whoever we decide to sign, if anybody, it does seem likely that we are going to try and sign someone. So it is integral that we try and grind some results out, and just we don't have to be, but like, position is not necessarily important. It's more about the points accumulation, to be fair. The positions are not as important as people seem to think. It is more about points. At the moment, we're on track for 62 points. If we match the points per game we're on now, we should get around 62, which was good enough for 6th last season. So it might not be good enough for 6th this season. It might vary, but it's a good target to try and get to 60-ish points. It's far more than we've been having in recent seasons. We're lucky if we get around 45-ish. That's kind of where we've been going for. So to jump straight up to 60 is an enormous improvement. That's 5 odd additional wins worth of points. That's so many more points than we've previously been getting. So it's definitely possible. We just need to try and it's less about positions, more about points. It's just keep it ticking over, draws if we can, wins if we can. Try not to lose. Just try and keep the points ticking over. Reassess in January, and then if they think they want to have a push, have a push. We'll see.
I mean, we were thinking last night that there's a possibility that Newcastle United already have players lined up. The deals may already be in place to bring some players in. Do you think that's a possibility, Danielle?
I mean, given that we're not in the know, just pointing that point out, yeah, maybe. Well, I think personally, I think we'll bring Maddison in January. I think we'll have to bring him in. For me, we'll be looking for a left winger and a right winger. We need both for depth of position. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we've been shrewd all the way along. We've made all the right moves with the right players at the right time. So I'm confident that the agreements will be already there. I would think.
Yeah. Barbara says, hi, Paul, Danielle, Alex and Billy. Did you guys not think a lot of the passing was very sloppy and not finding their target? Delighted with the win, though. Some of the time, I guess, when we got leggy, but
second half,
Barbara, you can't say that in the first half. The first half was just, the passing was extraordinary. And yeah, obviously when your legs start to, you start to get tired, passing will become sloppier. That's just the nature of the game. So I think that's why that happened. But as for, very sloppy, I'm not too sure. We
had sloppy spells in the first half too, didn't we?
Yeah.
A
couple of times.
Minutes to get in.
The first 20 minutes, yeah. The first 20 minutes. So the next 25 minutes were sensational.
Yeah, I mean, both teams were feeling each other out. I think first 15 minutes or so, it wasn't great football to watch from either side, to be honest. But we were controlling possession, I guess, at that time anyway. Gary thinks that Trippier looked a bit pale and unwell last night. Look, if there's a bug going through the camp, there is a real possibility of that. To be honest. Toon Dave says, Miggy was absolute class again last night. Looks so full of confidence at the moment. Noxie says, how bad was that Tarkovsky tackle on Fraser, by the way? Absolutely shocking. The commentator on my stream played it down as well. It was a disgusting tackle. And to be fair, I mean, in the slight time that Fraser was on the pitch, he did take a couple of nasty hits last night.
You know what he was doing? He's going to get what Del Boy's going to get against Tyson Fury in December. Like that's what he felt. That's exactly what it was like. Like poor little Ryan Fraser, bless him. He was absolutely bad.
I can't even give him a bad rating because he didn't have a chance to do anything. He just kept getting battered every 5 seconds.
God love him.
He did try and make a couple of decent runs when he got battered, by the way. I think that was, he had beaten the players, to be fair to him.
The collision between a 6'4" heap of a man of centre half against a 5'4" winger, right on his instep. How he didn't break his ankle, I will never know.
Yeah.
Shocking tackle.
George says, apparently Eddie can't organise a team defensively. Also, I think they had more of the ball once Big Joe went off. They did, and I think that I did say that in the second half last night. Watching it, I thought it was plain and simple that we missed Joe Linton. It just kind of upset that midfield trio. They were sort of working out where each other was supposed to play, and Everton were coming through the middle quite easily, to be fair. But they got through the middle, and then they met the fantastic four across the back, and then his holy one in goal. They're just not going to score. A lot of people have said today that we could be still playing now and Everton still wouldn't have scored. We just looked so comfortable with everything they threw at us. Adam says, Miggy will be our top scorer at the end of the season. Well, he is at the minute, isn't he? 5 goals.
Lovely.
Incredible.
That's the one up against Leeds, by the way, a cock own goal.
Oh, dear. What a cock. I Like Coffee says, hi, Paul, Billy, Alex and Daniel and all. I'm still buzzing with Miggy's goal and the team play where Bruno just missed scoring. I've never seen so many back heels in one match. And there were 4 and 5 in one. It was incredible. It was just pinging back heels left, right and centre. And then we were, all of a sudden, we're at their penalty area. And it's like, Christ.
Bruno intercepted it. Bruno intercepted the ball with a back heel. I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, that was just bizarre.
Was phenomenal.
Yeah. Seattle Geordie, thank you very much for your $10 super chat. It's week 10. Gordon has 5 yellows, then just came back from suspension. That is after week 9. Picked up another last night. So that is 6 yellows plus suspension. Weren't we looking at the worthless hump?
Absolutely disgusting.
Do you know who's got the second most? Maddison.
Oh,
Yeah.
He has. But I'd still have Maddison. That's the difference.
yeah.
Maddison is actually doing stuff on the pitch, whereas that little Quasimodo motherfucker, he's just a cheat.
What made
Lewis
him think
is,
I'm going to have my hair streaked? I mean, did he watch Back to the Future one night and thought,
well, he must have, Billy. I'm thinking that. Yeah.
Well, Andrew Ridgely.
I think he tried to copy Bruno and Joe Linton, but got it wrong.
Totally wrong.
Well, he got it very wrong, actually. Yeah. Ian says, lucky Trips didn't drop Gordon like a bad habit. Well, Shah certainly wanted to. A few comments saying that J7 really didn't look fit. Tony says, also, did you notice all the Everton players rushing up to defend Gordon? Neither did I.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Did they?
They didn't sort of, fly in at 100
He's
miles an
obviously
hour.
just a knacker, isn't he? He's obviously just a knacker, and they're just sick of him. Like, obviously. So, I mean, look at our players. Shaw was in there, Pope was in there, everyone was in there, man, getting involved. But
Yeah.
he was on his own. Oh, why? If you're going to be a knacker, that's what happens.
Yeah. Look, I think, especially at half time when they're going down the tunnel and apparently Pickford and Trippier have a bit of an eyeball and emotions are running high.
It happens, man. I mean, as friends, we sometimes have disagreements.
Absolutely.
We don't go eyeball to eyeball, but you know what I mean?
I hate when goalkeepers do that. Because
think
goalkeepers are so far back. There's no way Pickford or any goalkeeper in any match for that matter, when it's in the penalty area, fair enough. But these goalkeepers, I'm not on about Pickford specifically, but he did do this yesterday. They're constantly having huge arguments about things that happened in the centre circle. It's like there is no way you can confirm any contact or you definitely saw what happened. Absolutely no way. And Pickford was doing it as well. There was no way he saw half of the stuff he was whinging about.
Yeah. Do you know what it is as well, though? When he first touched the ball in that first half, I have never, ever heard boos as loud as that in my life. Now, some people would say, well, he'll thrive on that, being the cocky little git that he is. But, we've had proof in the past that kind of thing got to him. But to be honest, it didn't look like it got to him last night. He kept a level head. He didn't react to any of the crowd when he was, running back to the Gallagher or running back to the Leazers. He didn't really react. And I do have to say this, when the ball girls and ball boys were rolling the ball back to him, he was giving them the thumbs up to say thank you, and which I thought, not all goalkeepers do that, to be fair to Pickford. Well, yeah, it was a very tight
struggle, hasn't he, to do that?
It was a very tight thumbs
Look,
up.
he's playing on the Xbox.
Yeah. But you know what? He could have let it get to him, but he didn't. And at the end of the day,
look, it's banter. At the end of the day, we're not saying he's a terrible human being by any means.
But interestingly enough, Danielle, right, when he's running back to the Leazers end, the first half, I don't know how Sunderland fans would feel about this, but he was kissing the Everton badge. So as if to say, I'm not a Mackham anymore, kind of thing, which I found quite hilarious. And I thought, that'll probably upset the red and white half.
The thing is, he does a lot for young kids football. I don't know how he hands out. You know what I mean? Kids teams in Sunderland, etc. He supports a lot of them. So good for him. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I just think he's a terrible goalkeeper. That's it.
It was just his aggro he was given to fans over the years, and us specifically. That's what's caused it.
That's it.
Maybe he wants to get rid of that, but
I think he's matured a lot, Alex. I have to say,
he's not going to get rid of it, though.
No, well, he's not, but he has matured as a goalkeeper. There's no doubt about that. But and possibly as a man as well. Obviously, look at Mitrovic. He's calmed down a lot over the years. But it's, for me, we didn't test him enough.
Lots of soft headers, wasn't there?
Yeah,
a lot of really well worked set pieces and corners, but the final header was always too soft.
That second Lejeune goal was the one that killed him, wasn't it? The two in injury time. That was the second one.
It was that time at St James's as well, where they were winning, and we came back to win 3-2, I think, with Rondon and that, and Perez scoring.
Oh, it was sweet.
Because if you remember that long shot, he fumbled and it came out, I think, Perez, and he stuck it in the net. And I don't think he's recovered from that day, to be honest, because that's when he was really cocky.
He's probably got PTSD.
Well, he was giving it to the Newcastle fans coming off at half time, if you remember. The cameras coming down the tunnel, mouthing off at them. And People don't forget. You know what I mean?
PTSD.
Says, yeah. Actually think the ref did fairly well last night. J7 could have had a second yellow, but so could some of the skip rats too. I don't think the referee was too bad last night, to be honest. It wasn't a case of we weren't talking about the referee after the game, which
I would have liked a bit more consistency, because there were occasions where he was blowing for like a really tiny nothing, and then he'd completely let go like a rugby tackle. It was a bit, what's the standard here? Can we kill someone or can we tickle them? Like, he was just blowing for different severity of tackles. Like the Joe Linton one, no yellow, the second one, but then it was just a little bit odd. I did like it. He was letting the game flow a lot more. It was better. And I don't think, as much as we hate it, I don't think the Everton players could have been punished much more than they were. I think they got their yellow cards. Tarkowski was very frustrating with when he put it out for a corner and they gave it as a goal kick and he smirked and stuff. Unfortunately, the ref can't do anything about that.
No.
So I think he gave the yellows in the appropriate place, but it was a bit inconsistent at times.
James Mann, thank you very much for your £5 super sticker. Thank you very, 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 very much. Stu says Gordon should have been sent off for looking like he's been set on fire and then put out with a pickaxe. Gordon does more diving than Katie Price, says Mark Robson. Wow. Spacebar says the pitch was fine. It was water during half time. It's how we play that's causing the issues with injuries. Wagner says, I think the referee just didn't have the balls to give a red card at 6 minutes. He should have, though.
He didn't have the balls to give it at 90 minutes, to be fair, because, I mean, there's lots of players that had yellow cards that committed further offences and weren't.
Definitely. You're right there, Billy.
There definitely could have been a
United as well. Casemiro and Fernandez both committed a few fouls post their yellow card. And that injuries comment, I don't know. It is that the style of play causes injuries, but I don't think you can specifically say it's causing our injuries right now. Kraft got horror tackled. We've got sickness. ASM's is a reoccurrence, and Isak's happened in Sweden. So it wasn't us. So I don't know. Maxi's happened in training. It was unlucky. Isak wasn't even with the club. We weren't, yes, our style of play does tend to get more injuries, but I think we've just been a bit unlucky.
Chipper says 5 clean sheets this season already, and last season we only managed 6. Remarkable turnaround. It is
remarkable. Absolutely. It's a dream.
It's certainly something we're not used to.
Bloody hell, that's not a lot, is it?
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of clean sheets last year.
38 matches and we got 6 clean sheets.
Yeah, it's not great reading, to be honest.
We didn't have Pope though.
Well, we didn't.
Or Botman.
I mean, we didn't have Dubravka for a lot of the season, did we? Either.
No,
to be fair,
and of course, Steve Bruce didn't really play Fabian Schär for a lot of the time as well.
Indeed.
Let's not forget that.
And Lascelles a lot of the time. So I mean.
And Clark.
Freddie Woodman, Clark, Lascelles.
I mean, the match they added up.
Carl Darlow.
Yeah, Darlow. Jeez. Ashley 80 says, funny how when we got them Big Joe as up front and Miggy was in midfield. Yeah, I know.
Isn't that mad how things work out though? So a decent coach can recognise your true position and where you actually, your best playing. Whereas Steve Bruce, he just put them anywhere, didn't he? Whatever.
He did. Square pegs and round holes.
Indeed.
Gordon reminds me of the bad guy from the 80s Karate Kid.
Oh, yeah.
He does, actually.
Or Wurzel Gummidge.
Wurzel Gummidge.
I used to love him.
Wow. People are starting to take notice of us now, and I'm loving it. Well, how can you not? Darren says, I was frustrated with Longstaff too. He's always about 1 second off everyone else. Puts the work in, so credit where it's due. But I hope Willock's in for Spurs. I think there'll be a few changes. Ab says, tonight's show is being produced by Liz Truss. Yeah. What a just crazy. The world's gone, Great Britain's gone mad. V says, shame it wasn't Fraser on the pitch. To slap him, that would have been a scene cut straight from the show. I guess, yes. Spike, thank you very much for your 20 quid super chat, mate. Onwards and upwards. How are the lads? V meant slapping, not slappy. Okay. just to put it right. But we are in transition as a team, so you're going to have different level of past and future as we become the European constant we deserve to. That's a good point.
That sounds good.
There is a
isn't it?
transition of old and new, but that's the way it is. Well, John just says it all, really. There you go. Mark says, Alex, Longstaff is crap. So Mark's not having it. Z says, confident of a result against Spurs, lads and lasses. Well, we'll find out when we do our review, which will be tomorrow night at 7. So just to let people know what's happening tomorrow night, we are with you. We are spending Friday evening with you guys. So from 7 o'clock, we're doing the preview of the game till around 7:45. Then we're going to have launch some poo sticks or have some food or whatever it may be for 15 minutes. And then we'll be back at 8 o'clock for the TTR Friday show, because
it's a double header Friday.
We can't do a review show as part of TTR Friday. It just wouldn't work because we have so many different banters going on TTR Friday, so it wouldn't be the same. So we're doing a 45-minute preview show beforehand. So don't forget that and don't miss it. Byrne did some good covering in the middle of the defense, coming in from the left, but what's happening with Target? Well, listen, he can't get in the side at the minute. It's as simple as that. Dan Byrne may not be everyone's cup of tea at left back, but, I don't think he did too much wrong, Billy, last night.
No, he got beat for pace a couple of times, but, yeah, on the whole, I thought he defended quite well. I thought he was as reliable as the other three, to be honest. Well, not quite as reliable, but still solid centre-half, left back.
I think he made...
Left wing back. Well, I don't know, not left half, let's call him one of them in the old-fashioned parlance. Yeah, I thought he was okay. I thought he was solid enough.
Well, I think Target may play at Spurs, but we'll wait and see. Look, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's 3 days, and then a game on Sunday. He may not change much.
Has he got 90 minutes in him, Target, though? Because the time that he's played, he hasn't looked like he's been, 100% fitness. So I don't know if he's got 90 minutes in him, but I guess we'll find out on Sunday, won't we?
It's not the easiest thing trying to predict what Eddie Howe's going to do. Let's be honest.
We'll not find out now tomorrow, will we? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Stephen says, you got a group of Trophius Murai in your tank now, Paul. Well, I haven't got a group, mate. How the hell can you tell with that blue light? I've got 4. I've got 1 male and 3 females in there, and I've also got 10 Frontosa, very young age, and I've got 3 bristle nose in there as well, just to, keep the algae away and all the crap on the bottom. So yeah. Billy, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about, but there you go. Stephen obviously does.
3 front toes and a Bristol nose.
No, 10 Frontosa.
Right.
And 3 bristle nose catfish.
Oh, bristle nose. I thought
bristle noses, yeah. They've got little things at the front. They go around keeping your tank clean and stuff. But yeah, I have Stephen.
Like Hoovers.
Yes. I do want to get a few more trophies, but these guys, the Frontosa are going to get huge. So, but, we'll see. But it's nice to see the people. How the hell can he tell what fish they are? Incredible. Francisco, good evening to you, you special voiced hunk of lead. Francisco says actually Cher is more like who? Sauron. In the intro, whacking everyone aside with each swing and kick. Rabia says, Longstaff not quick enough. Body and mind seems to me scared to leave a foot in as well. Now that is a good point, and I think this has been a point with Sean Longstaff since he got the long-term injury, Alex, is that when he goes in for 50-50s, he doesn't go in. And there was 2 last night that I remember that he just did not go for. He pulled out.
Yeah. I mean, he is what he is.
I don't blame him for that. If he's still got that injury on his mind, it does play havoc with you.
You've got to again. I'll refer you back to my point about the size of the Everton midfield. They were absolutely enormous, and not everybody's Bruno. Longstaff is doing okay, and he's doing a job. He doesn't have the driving runs that Willock's got. He doesn't have the game that Bruno's got. He doesn't have the physicality that Joe Linton's got. He's not got a specific talent, but he's. I'll say it again. I said this a few weeks ago. He's currently James Perch. He's playing that role where he's just trying to cover positions where necessary. He's generally tidy. He does lose the ball a little bit.
Alex, Stop comparing him to James Perch.
I think that's currently
James
in this
Perch
current
was
setup.
shocking.
And he wasn't. He was in the team when we
No,
got.
what about
fifth.
Pacino?
Percino, I'm not having it.
He
Alex,
was our rotation midfielder when we came 5th in the league, and he played minutes.
He was much used as a fart in a gas plant, Alex. He was. Come
We
on.
came 5th. The stats don't lie.
I'm
came
not
5th.
having it.
We
I'm
were
not
2
having
points
that.
off,
Well, that's
off
your
Champions League. He
Incidentally,
wasn't great, but he did the job.
Douglas Luiz has been sent off for Villa. I think that
dear.
moves him out of our game.
Oh, what a shame.
Ooh,
Straight red.
Yeah, straight red,
Straight red.
3-game ban. Yeah.
lovely.
Pooley Mag says, really want Anderson to start instead of Murphy. I think he can do a job on Spurs. Alex, I hope so. Are you surprised Shelvey didn't get minutes last night? Has been on the bench twice now. He's just bringing him back slowly. He's not taking a risk on him. I've seen some.
He said, didn't he, he said like you would only bring him on in an emergency situation. So he says he's got to be really, really careful. I mean, to be fair, he's pushed himself to get back sooner, hasn't he? So that's where the caution's coming from.
Well, I think we were saying before the game last night, because we were all talking about the same thing, whether Shelvey's going to come on. And we were saying that maybe Eddie's brought him back because he's a good influence in the dressing room as well. And that's why Eddie's putting him on the bench, because he's good around the team. You know, and he's took a lot of hammer in the past, John Joe Shelvey. But listen, he's been captain, and he's obviously a good influence to have around the dressing room. And you know, he could be another one of these players that's just improved.
But would you really have wanted him on the pitch last night with the way Everton were playing? And the
Not really.
tackles
And
coming
I
in?
don't think Eddie would have. Spurs might be a bit different because they're not as physical, definitely in midfield. But I think he won't start. I'll be staggered if he starts, but he may come on 20 minutes. He may get 20 minutes. I think he'll start the Carabao Cup game, definitely. I think that's what probably Eddie Howe is looking at, giving him a good run out in. It would be the cup game. I noticed Joe Linton limping quite bad. He was limping into the box in front of the Gallagher end to defend the corner. Yeah, he's definitely got a knock. I don't think he'll play on Sunday.
No.
Cesare says, how's inculcation? Is that inculcation? Jesus wept.
Alex?
Of intensely coordinated pressures shows where we're leading the league in possessions won in our attacking third. We are first and fourth in passes per defensive action.
I think Chesa swallowed the dictionary.
I do.
Inculcation is the process of fixing beliefs or ideas in someone's mind, especially by repeating them.
I'm still none the wiser.
I think it's.
I think my head is about to
It's
explode.
repeating the ideology of the intensity is our identity thing. I think that's what he's on about.
My God.
Have I just stumbled into the Open University by mistake here?
Sure. Is this University Challenge? Hello, everybody. Welcome to University Challenge. Jesus. John says, if we go at them on Sunday, we definitely have a chance, to be honest. I was worried for the game, but seeing how we've been playing and Tottenham's last few games, I feel a bit more confident. Tottenham have not been great this season. They've scraped a few results, and they're not. Conte is very, very negative. And I've heard a lot of people, Spurs fans as well, saying he's very, very negative.
The problem is with Spurs is it's a complete coin flip as to whether, it could go like you say, and it's just bog standard Spurs and we can play well, or Heung-min Son and Harry Kane decide to show up big style and they'll just carry the game. Because when Son wants to play well, he scored
just switches it on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he scored a hat trick, and all 3 goals were absolute worldies. When they want to play well, you can't stop it. You just can't. Man City can't stop it.
All right.
Last season, Tottenham beat them twice.
Fair enough.
So hopefully we get the.
But why can't we go into the game and say that they'll be worried about us?
Well,
because
they will be.
we're a different team now. We're not this team that will capitulate anymore. We are a different team now. We have a different mindset. So why can't we go into the game and Tottenham worry about us?
Mags, let's do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, if Son and Kane score a couple of worldies, who's to say we can't score a couple of our own goals to still get points?
Who's to say Wilson can't score an overhead kick? Miggy can't put another worldie in.
True.
Bruno couldn't hit a 40-yarder in the top corner past Hugo, who was magnificent last night, by the way. If it wasn't for him, it would have been about 7-0 to Man United. Some of the saves he made last night were absolutely incredible. And I've always had my doubts about Lloris, but he was superb last night. He really was. So well done to him. Devin says if Miggy keeps it up, he's surely a nomination for Player of the Season. Well, it's a long way to go yet, but yes.
Early.
Yeah. I like coffee says I can see the fish in Paul's tank. Congratulations. Right. Before we get the graphics up from Stato, just a quick reminder that if you are enjoying tonight's show, guys, please hit that like button. Of course, it makes us appear on the YouTube searches a lot higher up, and tell them that something fabuloso, stupendioso is going on this channel. I keep trying to come up with words for that. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button and be part of this fantastic Toon Review community. We are under 300 away now from 15,000. We've had a massive influx again of subscribers, so welcome to all the new subscribers as well. Thank you so much for coming on board. So please do share the channel, pass it around family, friends. Let's get up to this 15K. And, of course, hit the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload or go live. You can become a member of the Toon Review if you hit that join button just underneath the video itself. If you're on iOS, you may have to pop across to a desktop version of YouTube, and you'll be able to join that way. We also have super chats available if you want to donate to the channel tonight, like so many wonderful people have already tonight. If you hit the $ at the bottom of the live comments, it will take you through that way. And this is where you can get your Toon Review merch.
So let's get down to business.
I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it.
Let's get down to business.
So there you go, guys. The toonreview.co.uk is the place to go for your merchandise. Trolls, thank you very much for your 50 Norwegian krona. Thank you for your continued support on the channel, my man. That is very kind of you. And by the way, those that don't know, Erik ten Hag has suspended Ronaldo for this weekend's game. He won't be involved in the game for Manchester United against Chelsea. Due to him walking off the pitch at 87 minutes because he didn't come on the pitch as a substitute. What do you guys make of that? I mean, what if it was one of our players? I mean, a lot of Man United fans are saying, "Oh, it's disrespectful," or and then a lot of fans are saying it's disrespectful towards Ronaldo because of what he's achieved in the game.
Oh, come off it! Come off
Or
it!
they could pick Bobby Charlton for that reasoning, couldn't they?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Well said, Billy. Correct. I just think, do you know what? It's all about ego, isn't it? So it's players like that we do not want who will wreck our dressing room. Absolutely not. Disgusting thing. Imagine you're at work, right, and you just think, "Oh, I'm away now. I'm just going to get up and leave." Like that, you can't do that. You just can't do it. So I mean, I don't like him. Never liked him. Don't care.
Maybe he's watching the fan stream out, so maybe thought he'd join them.
Maybe.
I think he was disrespected, but I don't think he should have walked out. I think that was dumb. I think because they were 2-0 up, he'd sent him out to warm up and then didn't sub him on, which a little bit disrespectful considering who he is. You could have given him minutes, but then
I don't buy that. I don't buy who he is. I don't give a toss who he is.
Yeah, but if it was boot on the other foot, if it was Shearer for us and we were winning. He was probably going to retire. You give him some minutes. We did.
Yeah,
we
but
did
Shearer would not get up and walk off.
No, I know that. Well, this is why Ronaldo. Yeah, I agree. Ronaldo should not have walked off. If he'd have stayed on the bench and been a proper representative, then he would have had the moral high ground. But he didn't. He's wandered off, and now he's lost any moral high ground he could have had.
Then we're going to go through this whole rigmarole again in January, aren't we?
The difference is Shearer knew when to retire, and Shearer knew when he was finished. Ronaldo clearly doesn't, and he spent the whole game on Sunday being offside, as far as I can see.
Do you think he's finished though, Billy? I mean,
yes,
he needs to go. He needs to go abroad. Abroad is in America.
Play in America, absolutely.
Yeah, he'd get a fortune over there, and if he's looking for a big payoff, I mean, can you imagine how many dollars that some of those MLS teams would play him? The likes of who will Man City connect with? New York City.
There's plenty of moolah there.
Definitely.
I mean, it concerns me what he's going to do because he's such a winning freak. What is he going to do if he's got no football? I think he's going to really struggle when he retires. I don't think he's going to know what to do at all.
Well, apparently he's got a lot of businesses. So
but he wants to be an athlete. That's why he lives and breathes.
He likes being in the sort of spotlight, doesn't he? He's not going to have that anymore unless he goes into management, of course.
No, of course.
I can't see him being a manager.
Imagine that.
I know.
Think
Neil
Klopp-
says, I'm black and white daft, but you have blinkers on if you think Longstaff was any good at all.
I think he was all, I mean, he wasn't terrible. I don't think he was terrible.
Darren says, when Pope came charging out the box, I was like, oh, shit. But he got there. Reminded me of Warpav when he did that. His best game since that England match will do his confidence good too. Yeah, he did. He looked a lot more confident last night, I have to say. So, yeah. Steve says, evening all. Great game yesterday. Looking forward to the next watch along. Billy done brilliantly yesterday. Yeah, it'll be my turn on Sunday. Billy did a fantastic job. Billy does the home games, of course. I cover the away games. So we got a nice little duo going on with the commentary, and Billy did a fantastic job yesterday. And it's me in the seat for Spurs, which is it's a half. Is it a 4:30 kickoff?
I think so. I think it's a late game.
Yeah.
Don't know. 4:30.
Yeah, something like that. I think the 4:30 now instead of 4, which they've put it back half an hour for some reason. Foxy, good evening to you. Big win for us, as I said, 1-0 as well. A lot of people owe Miggy an apology.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we all do, to be honest. But listen, let's just really see how he continues. And hopefully he'll be consistent all season. That's what we want.
I think now, but I think it's enough now to say well done to him. Surely.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but I just want him to continue.
Yeah, but even so, he's already bettered his best season's goal contribution with 5 goals. His previous was 4 goals. So we're only 11 matches in. He's already beaten his own record. We've still got a lot more games to play.
Well, we were criticising him though. He was playing as a cam, wasn't he? He wasn't playing on the wing as such.
That's true.
And he wasn't physical enough for that role. The right wing suits him perfectly, apart from the fact that he ain't got a right foot. But he just work him down that line, and he isn't physical enough for the middle. Like Alex has said before, he gets scared of the centre halves from a central position. He doesn't from a wide position, strangely enough. But from a central position, he was found wanting physically, I think.
Yeah, he'd stand at the D and just wouldn't know what to do with it. It was very funny. He would get very scared.
Sammy, good evening. He says, Al Hilal Saudi club have announced they will play Newcastle in Riyadh on December the 8th.
Have they?
I haven't seen anything about that, but I wouldn't imagine why not. They are. I think they are scheduled to go out there, but we'll see. We'll see. David says, always enjoyable to listen to. Well, knowledgeable chat. Cheers all. Thank you, David. Mike, good evening. We need a lone right back. Trips will tire, especially if he plays the World Cup.
Yeah.
That, Billy, you've mentioned that before. The worry that Trippier goes to the World Cup and he comes back and he's straight back into Premier League action again. It's going to be tough for. It's not just Kieran Trippier. This is a lot of players.
Yeah, I would hope that Mankier will have stepped into the breach there. Of course, Kraft was fit. There'd be no problem. But it looks like it will have to be Hafi Mankier if that's the case. If Kieran comes back knackered after playing 6-7 games. But of course, where England are going at the minute might not be that long. So
we've got 7 games in 1 month after the Villa game.
Mental.
It's a lot of games. But this is why they're professional footballers at the end of the day. Abs says, I generally don't think Trippier gets the credit he deserves for everything he has done since joining. An absolute mentality monster.
Absolutely.
Well, not from us. We love him. I'll tell you what.
I'm about to praise him.
Just an incredible. And do you know what? At the end of the game last night, when they were walking around the pitch, Bruno came over to the goal, right by the goal at the Leazes end, and give someone his shirt. But there was a disabled kid the other side of the goal, and Trippier spotted him. I think he was there with his dad, and Trippier came over and gave him his shirt, and he stood there for a good 2 or 3 minutes just talking to the kid and his dad, chatting away, and then give him an absolute massive cuddle, and then give him his shirt, and off he went. I thought it was just absolutely incredible, and just such a lovely guy. But this is what the difference is, that because the players get the fans, this is the difference. The players understand the fan base. They're not like certain people have said in a fishbowl. They are thriving on this. They are thriving on the atmosphere, and they are loving it. There was a couple of kids in front of us had a St. George's flag with Dan Byrne for England written on. And he saw it, and he came over, around 10 yards away and gave them a thumbs up and a wave. It just the spotting things in the crowd and they're reacting to them. Whereas, they're not these sort of prima donnas walking around just ignoring everybody. The club is definitely part of the fans again.
It's got the soul back, hasn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt.
The players could hardly go over to the crowd when they're seeing Bruce out flag. So let's be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's true.
But it's just completely different. It is. It's just a different atmosphere in that ground. Right, Alex, take it away.
All right, so average positions again. This is how we look. This is not Everton's average positions. I've just shunted them back because we don't care about them. So we've got our average positions. So interestingly enough, you've got for the last game, we actually did have Byrne was a little bit higher up in more of a left back role. He was above the halfway line, but we're back to a little bit of normality, and we've got this little back three shape with Trippier actually further ahead than Longstaff. So essentially, Longstaff's job is to babysit Trippier when he gets out of position, and Longstaff, despite a couple of people being a bit harsh to him in chat, he does make good covering runs. He did so against Man United, where he would run the channel and try and make a block or a tackle. At the moment, Longstaff's caught trying to play 6-8, babysitting Trippier's space, and he's got a lot to do, and he's not the most talented player. I think he's doing okay, to be fair. If people don't, then that's your opinion. That's fair enough. Bruno is typically just always in this centre circle for us. His average position is always here. He just orchestrates everything. Joe Linton next to him. Because Willock came on at half-time, I'll show you where Willock was. So Willock, when he came on, actually had a much higher role. He was somewhere up here, I believe. I think it was somewhere around there. So a lot higher up than Joe Linton was, which is why there was a little bit of space. Slightly less physical midfield. Miggy is always the highest. He's always ahead of Wilson, with Wilson dropping a tiny bit deeper. And Murphy, again, made a few good little driving straight runs into here. Got that nice shot away with his right foot that, unfortunately went slightly over. But yeah, we're getting very familiar with this kind of system and shape. It will just be interesting to see if we maintain this when Maxi's back, because our old systems used to be very geared around Maxi. Whereas now they're the way we're playing now is kind of more geared towards the right side, with Trippier, Miggy and Bruno doing nice little interlinking plays and switches and then getting it back to the right. It's all coming from the right now, whereas it used to be Joe Linton, Wood and Maxi all on that left side. So it's very, very different. And we'll see how it changes when maybe it will just be a bit more balanced, which is probably for the best. FOTMob. If we scroll down, we most definitely deserved to win this game. Expected goals, 1.46 to 0.17. So we absolutely destroyed them in XG. 16 shots to 1 with a big chance. Yeah, just night and day difference. 50-50 possession, but it was fairly pointless possession. And then we can actually see the shots. That's quite funny, seeing their one little Dominic Calvert-Lewin header that went over the bar, and then these are all of ours. So there's Miggy's goal there, which was, again, only a 0.06 XG. So you only score them 6 times out of 100. He doesn't score tap-ins. He only scores worldies. All of his goals have been remarkably low XG, but he's just got a lot of quality with that left foot when he wraps his foot around it. A lot of these low XG values, this one I think was the Willock header. I think he should have got that on target. He only got a 0.13 XG for that. Do you guys remember that, where he followed a run into the box? He did a little header, but it went massively over. I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe a bit off balance.
Maybe.
There's a few... jump, didn't he?
Yeah, there's a few things that didn't even go down as a shot. So, for example, that quick, intricate play into the box that went to Trippier's feet and he kind of fumbled over them. That doesn't even count as a shot, but I would still say that's classified as a pretty high-value chance. It just doesn't get logged as a shot. So, this doesn't even show you the full state of it. And then we talk about Trippier. Let's reset us. If we go and have a look at our SofaScore player ratings of the season, I mean, look who's top for average ratings. And he's played pretty much all the minutes as well. So, I mean, arguably, Maxi's stats are a bit inflated because he's had a few good games and then he's gotten injured. So his rating's staying high. Whereas Trippier is just playing and playing and playing, and his rating's not tanking. His average is just so high. He's just He's just quality is just there.
Mhm.
And then where's Everton? There we are. No, that's still Tottenham. If it wants to give me the Everton game, that would be lovely. There we go. There it is.
Fulham 3, Villa 0, by the way.
Fulham 3, Villa
Ooh.
0. Oh dear.
Who's the scorers?
Well, Mitro's got 1. He might have got the second or third as well. So the second. Sorry.
Oh, I hope so, because he's my captain. Oh.
No, there's a
Right.
surprise.
Here's Mr. Trippier. Heat map again. His heat map is typically more of a right midfielder than a right back. Let's be honest. He's pretty much a midfielder at this point. 4 tackles, 2 interceptions is pretty monstrous. 4 out of 5 ground duels again is monstrous. 4 key passes, 7 crosses, and a long ball. The amount of chances this guy creates for us is phenomenal. He's just constantly getting the ball in. And that's before we even mention the fact that he's captaining the side as well. And who was it that had a ridiculous? Was it Bruno? Somebody did some crazy stuff. I can't remember who it was. Oh, it was Cher. It was Cher. So if we go in and have a look at Fabian Scher's, look at his duels. He was proper up for it. He won 9 out of 10 duels. Absolutely destroyed them. 2 tackles, 1 interception. Only lost 1 duel. He was proper up for it. 2 shots on target as well. A couple of soft headers. Bruno, 6 out of 10 duels as well. Very, very tidy. He got counted as the assist with the layup for Miggy. And just really tidy stats in a game that, let's be honest, the lads were very, very tired. And a lot of them put in fairly decent ratings. And if we can scroll down and have a look, you can actually see their ratings as well, that they're quite... Fullback's very poor. I'm surprised to see Iwobi's rating so low. I thought he looked a little bit better.
He was the
sort of
standout
the eye
player for me
test.
last night for Everton, to be honest.
I think it's because he was trying more dangerous things. When they failed, it tanks his rating a little bit. But I thought he was better than the other 2. Onana was just constantly on the floor. He was very physical, but he was always on the floor. But wingers and fullbacks just didn't do the job at all. And then obviously Willock came on. There he is. Willock came on. Very sort of sparse heat map there, a bit odd. But 2 long balls, 3 shots off target, 3 out of 6 ground duels. This doesn't really show the whole story, but he was definitely involved with his driving runs. 3 shots off target. All 3 shots arguably were. He had good value chances, and he just didn't take them. And Bruno's as well. He had 3 shots off target, but we know how close they were. Yes, they were off target, but a couple of those were very, very close. So definitely, yeah. And I just wanted to have a look at Fabian Scher's FB ref, because we haven't looked at it in ages. And I'd just like to show how much more green it looks compared to what it used to.
Christ.
So progressive passes received is really high. Touches in the attacking penalty area for a centre-back is extremely high as well. Shot creating actions, he's creating chances for his teammates, and he's a centre-back quite consistently. Very good at his interceptions. He's just a very, very tidy centre-back.
I love the way he reads the game and he steps up and makes those interceptions. They're brilliant to watch. Absolutely brilliant to watch. Stu says Percino is a ridiculous nickname. It's up there with Zinedine Kilban. Yeah, it definitely is. Right, it is time for the player ratings. And as usual, we will each give our ratings for each player. If you're giving them a rating, then fine, and you're going to give an explanation, but do it in about 3 sentences. Anyway, here we go. So we'll start with you, Billy, for Nicholas, the Holy One Pope.
Yes, back to his confident best again yesterday. I thought didn't have anything to do really from a saves point of view, but everything he did was tidy and he read the game really well. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Okay, Alex.
Yeah, I'd go with a 7. Although, did we give him a 7 against Brentford?
Oh, I can't
I think we did.
Remember. Jesus Christ, Alex. I can't remember what I did yesterday.
This is where it's tricky, because he had a much better game than he did against Brentford. But it's not more than a 7, is it? It's really, really tricky. I'll go with a 7 as well.
It goes with
Okay.
the game, though, doesn't it? And how he performs in that particular game, how he feels in that game, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite different for goalkeepers, I guess, because a lot depends
Mm.
on what comes at them as opposed to
Yeah.
they can't influence it as much.
Well, I'm going to give him an 8. Not
Ooh.
for any shot stop, but simply because the way he commanded his box yesterday. He didn't get Everton a hope in hell. Every ball that came through when they were chasing after, Pope was out there like greased lightning. So for me, I'm going to give him an 8. Danielle?
I'll give him an 8 and all.
Well,
Just
because we were on
of-
the top row, Danielle, he gets an 8. There you go.
So it's
Yeah,
me.
2 out of 2 successful run-outs and 1 high
Mhm.
claim. So that's sweeper keeper in action.
Fair enough. Right, we'll move on to our right back, Kieran of the Trippier. Danielle, we'll start with you for the Kieran Trippier.
I'd give him a 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he played really well. I think he looked a bit, off colour, a little bit off at times through the game. However, I think you can't fault his commitment, and he played really, really well for me. So it's a solid 8.
Okay. Billy?
I agree with that. Yeah, I thought once again, his leadership was outstanding. And he drove us forward as he does every week. So an 8 out of 10. Great game.
Cool. Alex?
I want to give him a 9.
Ooh.
Oh, he was brilliant. Defending was tidy. He was involved in the setup to the goal. It was a long switch out to him at the backside of the box, and he brought it across to Joe Linton, then to Bruno, then to Miggy for the goal. So he was involved, and just the amount of chances he creates for us: 4 key passes, 1 million crosses, and he's the captain. He had to put up with getting started on, and he kept his cool. He was getting our lads out of yellow cards and scraps. I think it was more than just about his performance.
I wish
I'm
he'd
gonna
hit
give him a
that
9.
shot, though, instead of pulling it back to Miggy. I wish he'd just taken
Yeah,
that
he could
shot
have
in
had
the
a
second
goal.
half.
He could have had a
Real
goal as well.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 9 as well. I thought he was just... And again, I'm looking at not just what he does with the ball, but his leadership skills and everything like that. It's just second to none. The guy is just a leader. He's been at Newcastle for almost a year now, and without a doubt, one of the best right backs I've seen play. His positional sense is incredible, and just the all round, the way he's embraced Newcastle United is just fantastic. So we've got 2 9s and an 8, but because I'm the boss, we'll go with a 9. We'll move swiftly to the left back, and we'll go with Dan Byrne. I'll start with Dan Byrne. And I'm going to give Dan Byrne a 7, just a steady away a 7 again. Got caught out a couple of times, but looked quite solid. I don't see, he wasn't all over the place. I'm going with a 7. Billy?
Yeah, I agree with that. 7 out of 10 is fine. Yeah, I thought he was solid again. He was beaten for pace a couple of times, but generally he helped out the centre halves too.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 is a good score for me.
Danielle?
Yeah, 7 for me as well. I think you're absolutely right. You did get caught a few times, but still a good performance from Dan. So yeah, 7.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think
Cool.
he's trying his best to not get caught out for pace, but he is what he is, and he's being asked to play in that role. So,
Okay. Next one is Sven Botman, and we'll start with you, Billy.
I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I thought, again, he was commanding in the air. Again, the passing was fantastic. Just a great player. It's a fantastic player. 8 out of 10 because he didn't have a lot to do, really.
Alex?
yeah, I think an 8. I think I mean, looking at stats here, he got 2 key passes, and he's a centre back. He's it's tidy. It's very, very tidy. He's
not as good as the runs Fabian Schär made in that second half yesterday. Holy hell!
Well, yeah.
Bombing forward like a winger.
But no, Botman gets an 8. He's just again, he plays like a 32-year-old, not a 22-year-old. Just brilliant every week.
Danielle?
Yeah, I agree. 8 for me as well. I think he's great.
Yep, I'm going with an 8 as well. So there you go. So an 8 for Sven of the Botman. Now Fabian Schär on the other side. Danielle?
9 for me. I mean, I'll give him a 10, but you'll just not agree. So I'm going to give him a 9. I think he was outstanding again. I just don't know. He's just... I don't understand how someone could look at him and not want to play him in your side. I don't understand it because he's got everything. He's so committed and he gives it everything. He leaves everything on the pitch. So for me, 9 for me.
I'm giving him a 10.
Ooh, you see, I was going to give him a 10, but he's
I
never
thought he
good
was
10.
absolutely
Oh.
fantastic last night. It's not just, it's his positional sense as well. It has improved so much. The way he tackles, the way he intercepts. You know, again, he was stepping up and intercepting the ball, but not just intercepting the ball. He was intercepting the ball and then driving us forward. You know, twice in the second half, he drove forward as if he was playing in midfield. Just incredible. Again, taking shots to the head for the team. You know, just when he looks down and out, he just gets up. 3 minutes later, he's running around again. He looked like he pulled a hamstring yesterday, got up, had a bit of a feel of his hamstring, thought, nah, I'll get on with it. And he just ran back into his position. And there was no way anyone was getting through Fabian Schär last night. And the way that he stuck up for his captain as well, it was brilliant. And I just thought, man of the match for me last night was Fabian Schär again. And he just seems to be, he's like a good cheese or a good wine. He's just fantastic. So Swiss cheese. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's 10 for me. Billy Bob?
9 for me. I thought he was
Okay.
outstanding. Those two, he did 2 passes like that with the full like angle of the pitch from the corner centre of his penalty area to the corner of their penalty area. Phenomenal passes, and again, he stuck up for his captain, defended like a lion as he always does. 9 out of 10 for me. Super.
Okay, Alex.
I'm tempted to go with a 10 as well. I am tempted for the reasons you said. Essentially,
Yeah,
it's the performance. 9 out of 10 duels, very good passes, great positioning, and then on top of that, defending his captain, and on top of that, drawing a bunch of fouls, and again on top of that, when he's injured, he's not injured. He just carries on. He doesn't care. He gets clattered again every week. How many times has that guy had a concussion test? I feel so sorry. Every match, it's fab.
It's incredible,
how many
man.
fingers am I
It
holding
is
up,
simply
fab?
incredible.
But he just keeps, So I'd probably say his performance warrants an 8 or a 9, and then just the extra mile of just battles through the injuries, defending his teammates. I'll go for the 10 as well. Why not?
So that's a 10 for Fabian Schär, because we're going to pretend Danielle gave her a 10 and give him a 10 and not a 9. So there you go.
Technically, I was going to. So, I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Right, we'll move into midfield now, and we'll start off with Sean Longstaff, and we'll start that one off with Alex.
Oh, that's a tricky one. I'm going to give him a 7 as well. I'm going to give him a 7. I'm not going to give him any lower than a 7. He still made 2 key passes. He was important. We won the game with him in midfield. Essentially, we didn't lose the game. He didn't make any errors that led to a goal. He was not as good as the other midfielders, and he didn't have a great performance, so he can't get any more than a 7. But he was on the winning side, and he was competent enough to help us get the win. So, yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Okay. I'm giving him a 6. I just thought he's, I mean, listen, 6 is average, so he was average for me.
5 is average, technically.
Sorry?
I mean, 5 is average technically, but
okay, I'll give him a 5. He was
that's
average.
harsh.
Well, he's telling me he's 5's. Listen, I'm. Shut up, Alex. I'm going with a 6, right? And he was average.
Yes.
Billy.
Yeah, I agree with 6 too. I thought he's obviously the least talented of our midfield players, but he puts the effort in, and he did contribute at times also, both defensively and going forward. So a 6, but he did lose the ball on many occasions too. So
yeah, Danielle.
6 for me. Yeah, I thought again, I can't really say anything more than what you guys have said, but I think his heart's in it with Sean. So I think it's not that he doesn't want to try. Yeah. We can't really. We've got to get behind him, haven't we? So
it's incredible tonight because Simon Cowell sitting there in his black shirt, giving all these higher marks tonight, which is.
I know.
I think.
I'm a fan of it.
You've got to take it in the right context. That Longstaff's playing a very specific role at the moment.
I am
just
tucked
tucked in behind Trippier. No, I get that. I just feel like he played how he. I don't think he would have. I think if we play that match again, I think he would probably give the same performance. I think that's just how he would play against their midfield and with the role that he's got.
He gave the ball away a lot. That was my gripe with him last night. It wasn't so much his tackling or anything like that. He gave the ball away so many times. which was
he got
poor.
22 out of 29 passes, so that's only 76%.
So I was
Could
right.
be
He
higher.
lost the ball
Could be
7
higher,
times.
should be higher,
Hey,
yeah.
did I
Okay,
not
let's
say at the
move
start
on.
of the
Let's
show?
move
Hang
on.
on, hang on. Did I not say at the start of the show I counted 7 times he gave the ball away last night?
Mm.
And Alex has just confirmed that in a statistic. Wow. Okay. What were you going to say, Danielle?
Let's move on.
Okay.
From Longstaff.
So we'll move on to Joe Linton, who only played 45 minutes. But what we're going to do is we'll say Joe Linton and Joe Willock here, because obviously they played 45 minutes each.
The
So
two Jaws?
the two Joes. I'm going to give Joe Linton a 6. I thought he was a little bit off, but again, that could have been injured. I thought some of his tackling was very clumsy, possibly lucky not to get a second booking. But I love Big Joe, but it wasn't one of his best games. But it showed in the second half just how much we do miss him in that position that he plays. And Joe Willock gets an 8. I thought he was brilliant. Driving forward, creating opportunities. I love watching him do that, because I don't know whether you guys notice that, but he just looks like a Chris Waddle when he's running with the ball. Like he beats men without sort of even looking like he's bothered. But the runs he was making was brilliant. So he gets a solid 8 from me. Billy?
I agree with you 100%. Exactly what you said. 6 for Joe Linton, 8 for Willock.
Okay. Danielle?
And me, for the same reason.
And Alex?
I'd give Joe Linton a 5. I'm not sure how you can give. I'm not sure how you can give Longstaff and Joe Linton in the same rating when Joe Linton had a really bad day. I love Joe Linton, and it's very uncharacteristic of him. But he didn't have a good day.
Longstaff had a bad day as well.
I mean, Joe Linton got 66% pass accuracy, gave away 2 fouls, didn't contribute too much. I mean, he was integral. All right, okay. I've just remembered one thing that makes me want to change my rating. He was right in the box. He was integral in the build-up to the goal, so I think I've got to bump him up to a 6 based on that. But apart from the build-up in the goal, I thought he was very poor. And I'm not blaming him. I think he'll be absolutely fine when he comes back. He's just one of those days. And then Willock, I agree. I think he gets an 8. The driving runs, he makes it look like the opposition aren't trying. He makes them look lazy because he just moves the ball so effortlessly. It's when he's really switched on with those runs, they are so impressive.
And I thought he combined really well with Elliot Anderson, to be fair. Abs is asking why he suddenly jumped to Willock. Well, that was because he had 45 minutes, so we came on for Joshua Martin at the same time. Yeah. Right, the other midfielder is, of course, Bruno Guimaraes. Sorry?
Bruno Guimaraes, not Guimaraes. I hate when people say Guimaraes.
I always say it.
It's Guimaraes.
I can't say it.
Guimaraes. Alex, Bruno Guimaraes.
I don't know who that is. Sorry, we don't have a player with that name.
Bruno G.
Bruno G. No relation to Honey G, by the way. I'd just like to point that out.
Thank God.
Jesus.
Oh, Ali G.
Or Ali G for that matter, yes.
Any of the G's.
I'm gonna give him a 9.
Mm.
I think it was probably an 8 performance, but because we've given such high scores, I've got to give him a 9. Otherwise, it sounds mental. He drew 3 fouls, 3 tackles, really physical. Shots were really close. Lots of intricate play, key passes. He's got everything. And basically, everything we've described about all the midfielders, he's done all of it sort of mixed into one player. He's just got all of it. It's brilliant. So I'll give him a 9.
Dark by Design says, don't forget Kenny G.
Oh, yes.
The famous saxophone player, of course. Danielle, Bruno.
9 for me. I mean, he's always going to be a top scorer, isn't he? Apart from, obviously, Cher. But, he just brings so much to the game. I'm just kind of conscious that any time now he's good lady's about to have a baby, isn't she? So, I mean...
Well, hopefully she'll have it tomorrow. Julie J says, some commentators say Guimaraes. Guimaraes.
I just did the Brazilian way because I just listened to what they said and it's right because it's their language. So...
Of course, we know what you're like for accents, Alex. It's all right if we pronounce the name
just say it the way they do
it. Billy, Bruno Guimaraes.
Guillemars, I will give
Guillemars.
for that 10 minutes, that 20 minutes.
So much.
Oh my God, Jesus!
For that 20 minutes between the 25th and the 45th minute last night, I was absolutely awestruck by what he was doing. I was gasping at some of the touches he was making, the back flick interception, and that move.
Steady on, Billy. Get a room.
It was, serious to God, it was unbelievable. It was. I'll go as far as to say it was the best 25 minutes I've seen a Newcastle United player ever perform.
Absolutely.
It's getting nothing less than a 10 for me, just for that 25 minutes alone.
Well done, Billy.
Of course, Tom Lynch says as well, don't forget Gina G.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, exactly, yeah.
Chip is saying that, Tom, not you. I've got to be so.
I know. Tom doesn't seem to be somebody who would, have Gina G, but there you go.
I sang that song when I was constipated once.
Oh, my God.
Swiftly moving on. Tom says he's with Alex on the correct pronunciations. Francisco says, Alex, don't cry, mate.
It hurts.
Well, you can tell. You removed your glasses to show your disapproval.
It's serious when the glasses come off. You know what I mean?
Mike Trembeth as well says, don't forget the famous G spot.
Oh, of course.
Oh, God.
Never seen it. Never found one.
Also, don't forget. Don't forget the G string. Oh, it's going crazy here. Oh, never mind. Right, let's move on. We're up to the front three now, so we'll start with young Murphy, and we'll start with Danielle.
I'm going to give him a.
You're going to give him an
I was going to say it, and then I changed my mind. I'm going to give him a 8. No, I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because I think he's playing well, though. Like he is.
Listen, he's getting more and more confident, and I think that comes down to Eddie Howe working really well with him.
I don't want to spend every week trying to make excuses for putting him down and saying, this is what he did wrong. I want to say actually this is what he's done right, and he's playing really good. So I think he was really good first half. Second half he faded a little bit, so I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Alex.
I think a 7's fair. I think his off the ball work was really good. His pressing was really good, and then he definitely got some confidence because he kept running at the fullback and then jinking and finding a space and running into the space towards the box, and that's how he got that first shot off, and it was really, really impressive. And then he forgot how to do that and just kept running into defenders every time he had the ball. I don't know why. He just needed to replicate what he was doing earlier on because it was brilliant, and then he forgot and he just kept running into people.
There was a reason for that, Alex. There was a reason for that. I'll tell you about it when I give him a mark.
Okay, yeah. So I'll give him a 7. It was more confident. It's what I said a few weeks ago. He looks like he understands our system now. He's not just running around, and I like that he actually gets what he's meant to be doing because that helps the whole team.
Billy.
Indeed.
I'll give him a 6. While he was going at Seamus Coleman 1-on-1, fine. But as soon as Gordon came back to help him, not a chance. He was just done for pace every time. And ironically, the best thing he did actually was just before he got substituted off when he took about 4 players on, beat them all. But I think that when Gordon came back to help Coleman with him, he was lost. 6 for me.
Okay. Toon Sean says, any chance you could do something for charity involving Stato on your streams? He has to say foreign footballers' names in the same way the rest of us do in normal English.
Absolutely not.
Can you imagine?
Let's also not forget the famous Stevie G.
Yes.
Of course.
Francisco doesn't quite know. Francisco doesn't know what a G-spot is. Francisco, you've let yourself down. Rachel,
you like thousands of men, You like thousands of men, Francisco. Good job, Rachel ain't watching though.
Well, there you go. Speaking of charity, I think next Friday, a week on Friday, the TTR show is going to be a Halloween special. So we're going to mix it. We're going to have a bit of fun on that night. And that night will be another charity night where we'll be raising money again for Parkinson's and British Heart Foundation. So just to give you a heads up, that show is going to be a charity show. So all super chats and donations to the channel will go to charity. Now, last time we did that was on transfer deadline day. We raised £267 for each charity, which was incredible. So thank you so much for that. And we'll be doing the same again on Halloween. So we'll be having a lot of fun as well.
Definitely do some good quizzes as well, can't we?
Yeah.
Spooky players, red cards, tackles.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be looking back at some of the scary things for Newcastle
Ooh, we
United.
could have
or
like
scary
ghoul or
things in
no
football.
ghoul.
Ghoul or no ghoul. That's interesting, Billy. But there you go. So we will be having the Halloween special, and we are going to do it for charity as well for all your super chats. So please don't forget that. Of course, two very important charities to our hearts. Obviously, Parkinson's for myself, and the British Heart Foundation for the late great Dave Harrison. So we're going to do that, and we actually might do it for 3 because I want to do something for John Tudor. His charity, of course, John's not really well at the minute, so I might look at that as well. But it's going to be whatever we generate through super chats will go to charity. So there you go. We like to do that once every so often, and Halloween seems like a good time to do it because we can have a really good laugh on Halloween and make some spondies for the charities. So thank you very much in advance for that. But just to give you a heads up, that's what we're going to do. Right. We've got Miggy next. Billy.
9 out of 10 for Miggy. Fantastic goal. Nearly did it again at the beginning of the second half. Was a constant threat down that right-hand side. Again, energy and abundance, even after playing 3 days before. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me for Miggy. Outstanding.
Yep. 9 for me. Danielle?
Well, I'm going to give him a 10. I'm going to give him a 9 for his performance and a 10 for that smile.
Yeah. Did you see him sitting on the bench after he'd been taken off last night? Just sitting there with an absolute beam and smile on his face. It was.
I love to see it. I just love it.
You just want to give him a cuddle, don't you? He's just. Class. Alex.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9. I thought he was brilliant. 3 tackles again from a winger. His passing accuracy as well. 26 out of 29 passes, 90%. He's just tightened everything up. Pressing, shooting's better, his passing's better, his link-up plays better, his tackles, everything's just so much sharper. He's worked on his whole game, and he's just a delight to watch. Definitely a 9.
Okay. Now, this one is going to be... Have we asked you, Billy? Oh, yes, we have. This one, I think, is going to cause... I'm looking forward to hearing your scores for Mr. Callum Wilson. Danielle?
I'm going to give Callum a 7.
Right.
I don't think it was that good. I don't know what else to say. I didn't really see a lot of him in the game. So, I mean... Yeah,
he wasn't in it much, but...
and Alex, I get that it's what I get, firstly, before everyone comes for us in the comments, right? Because,
Well, you haven't heard ours yet.
But I just feel like people, they will, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of creativity in for him. There wasn't a lot of chances for him, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex?
I give him a 7. I thought he was all right. Okay. I thought he had a very similar game to what he's had recently, where he's not getting a lot of the striker chances. Everything's going through wingers. And
what he said. That's what I meant.
Yeah, what he said. I like the way she's doing this. Him down there.
I think we'd be having a very different conversation if a couple of people could have finished their dinner. He put a few people through a few times. He played Murphy through, and he was also part of the chance that got Trippier and Miggy there. He was involved in some really, really dangerous build-up, and it fizzled out. And if people had put those away, there would have been assists and direct involvement from Wilson, and we would be having a different conversation through no fault of his own. Somebody else finishing chances changes his, and that's not he can't make them finish those. It's the same thing we used to talk about with Maxi. Maxi can't make his teammates finish those chances. He can only just deliver what he delivers, and I think that's what Wilson's doing at the moment. I think he's playing in a slightly different role. Miggy, as we show on the average positions, Miggy and Murphy are so high up and Wilson's dropping back. They were very physical. He managed to draw a couple of fouls. He didn't give away any. So, I think he is struggling a bit. I think he's frustrated as well because he wants to be the pinnacle, the peak, and be getting the chances. And at the moment, he's having to take a step back.
It'll come for him. Of course it will.
But I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think it's just the way we're playing.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Barbara says, "Is Halloween fancy dress?" Well, if we can promise to get plenty plenty super chats in for the charities, then you never know. You never know. Some people would say that I turn up in Halloween costume every show, and I'm saying that before the comments come in. So, you know, maybes. Billy, Callum Wilson for you?
Yeah, 7 out of 10 is a fair score for him. I think he gave, again, Tarkowski and Cody nightmares with his running between them, his physical presence amongst two physical centre-halves. But the chances aren't coming his way, are they? He's not getting the service where you can judge him properly. But as Alex said, he did kind of give assists, which should have been taken, really, for later in the game. So 7's fair, but like Alex says, had them chances been taken, we were looking at 8s or 9s for him.
Okay. I'm surprised, I have to say. I'm going with a 5. I wasn't. He didn't impress me last night. Look, well, listen, I'm only speaking for what I saw on the pitch at the game last night. I didn't think he. I just didn't think he had a. Listen, I love Callum Wilson. Don't get me wrong, but I just think he was off. By the way, Susan's put a suggestion in for us to come on the stream as Adam's Family characters.
I'll come as Tony then.
I'll come as Cousin It. Watch.
Who could Alex be?
There's my Colaccini wig out the window.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll come as Jerry. I'll come as Jerry Adams.
No, Billy, no. Christ, I'm not having it. I'm not starting. Swanky says, good Lord, chaps, you have to dress up. Paul, if you were a Halloween costume, you would be better dressed. That's just shit.
Never.
Right. Who was subs? So we've already done obviously Willock. So there was Elliot Anderson and Fraser, of course, came on at the same time. So we'll do them both together, and I'm going with a 7 for Elliot and a 6 for Fraser. Billy?
Yeah, I just wish Elliot had been a little bit more clinical last night, because I think he might have got his first goal had he been a bit more clinical. He could have shot first time, or maybe took one touch, and he just hesitated a second, and it was out of the way. But yeah, 7 for Elliot and 6 for Fraser, who basically got kicked from pillar to post for the time he was on. He looked more comfortable on the right-hand side, though, I've got to say.
Yeah. Well, Julie J says, Billy, you should be Uncle Fester.
Thanks, Julie. I love you too. He played for Middlesbrough, didn't he?
Yeah. Somebody's asking, was that Ozzy Osbourne? Shannon! Yeah.
Did you say Shannon?
Sharon.
I know it's Sharon, but it sounded like you said Shannon.
Yeah, but he goes, Sharon. I've pissed me pants, Sharon. Uncle Fester, Cousin It, Morticia, and Gomez, says Cisco. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Right. Danielle?
What? Oh, yeah. Elliot. I forgot what we're talking about. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Tony Adams, Jerry Adams, Danielle. Come on. Let's
Don't make it
imagine one of us turns up with an Arsenal kit.
I mean, that would never happen. But
an Arsenal kit with a pint.
We're not on another YouTube channel that I'm not mentioning. Anyway,
right, let's finish.
Hang on. Right, I'm going to give Anderson a 7. Fraser, I feel sorry for him because he barely had anything to do, because every time he got the ball, he got battered. Like, literally got chinned at every opportunity. Like, I felt bad from there. So, I mean, I'll give him a 6 as well.
Okay. Alex?
I give them both a 7. I think Fraser got fouled 3 times, and all 3 fouls were because he was about to run into a dangerous space. So he made that himself, effectively. And I've got to give that credit. And I don't think just because
I've changed to a 7. Yeah.
But Elliot Anderson equally he didn't get fouled, and he got the opportunity to drive into those spaces. He won us a corner. He looked very lively, and possibly could have got his first goal. Yeah, if he was a bit more switched on. Okay. But he does look very, very technical. I think Jordi Maradona is a fair shout. He's that ball stays very close to those feet. He looks a bit Spanish, doesn't he, with his style? It's interesting.
Fair enough.
Anderson.
Anderson. Tom Lynch says the Adams family: Jerry, Tony, Brian, and John.
John Adams. Who's John Adams? Who's the thing is John Adams? I'll come as Grizzly.
Francisco says, Paul, you can come dressed as My Little Pony. Francisco may need fall out.
I mean, you can go as Connor Coder. He's already got the shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
He plays for Everton.
I know, but he'll always be a Wolves player, won't he?
Mike says, dress up as Gabby Young Bonglahor. You might get cancelled if you dress up as a giant penis, though. Oh, Jesus. Right, Eddie Howe. Quickly round the table. Billy?
8 out of 10. Again, he picked the team that he had to pick it. No real choices. But we played a nice style of football for 25 minutes in that first half. So 8 out of 10 for me.
Alex?
I give him a 9. I was really impressed. I think our corner routines have massively improved. I think, there were some soft headers at the end of them, but he can't, physically make the players head better. But the corner routines were much better with Joe Linton, Miggy, and Trippier taking them and having varied routines. The centre backs are getting more chances from corners. I loved when he told Cher to stay down before they made the substitutions. The in-game management was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think the substitutions were spot on. Willock at half time. All the subs were done at the right time. They were the right changes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really, really, really good from the coaching staff. So I'll give him a 9.
Okay. Danielle?
I'll give him 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him an 8 as well. And of course, the Newcastle United fans is a 10 straight away.
Mm-hmm.
There's no special mentions this week because we gave one on for the Man United game.
I'm giving one.
We do them weekly, Danielle.
No, I'm giving one to Billy, my brother.
Okay.
Just for being just because he's class. Just because he's class. Yes, your commentary's class. You're just dead funny, and I just think you bring so much to this channel, and I'm so grateful that we've got you. So,
thank you.
Just for you.
I want to give one to Bruno because he did things in that 25 minutes that I've not seen in 50 years.
You're not allowed to give them to the players, Billy.
Oh,
Why
shit.
not?
Hey, mine's a stat award. I've got to give it to the players.
No.
Yeah, go on, Alex.
No,
give it
the
to him.
players
Go on,
do
quick.
not get special awards. It's for other things.
I always give a stat award to a player.
Yeah, go on. Give him it. Go on.
I'm Fabian Cher. 9 out of 10
what I'm
duels
doing here.
against a giant side. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Fab deserves one.
See, that's better, isn't it?
Go on, Paul. Give an award. You know you want to.
No, I haven't got one.
Oh.
What about one for dissent for history? Knowing what you said.
Yeah, you're all yellow carded, you bastards. Right. There you go, guys. It is a mutiny. Doctor by Design says it's a mutiny. It is. It's terrible. I feel like I've had to walk the plank. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like Liz Truss?
I don't feel that bad. Right, that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed tonight's show, please hit the like button as usual. And if you're new to the channel, why not become part of the community and hit that subscribe button? It's free to do so. And of course, hit the notification bell when you know we go live or we upload a video. I will be doing another press conference reaction one tomorrow, see if there's any news comes out of Newcastle. So stay tuned for that. And then don't forget, tomorrow night we start at 7 with the 45-minute show for the preview for the Tottenham game. So we'll rattle through that and give you our score predictions. And then we'll take a quick break. And then we'll be back at 8 o'clock for TDR Friday. And I'm sure Billy will be on form as usual. Everybody's looking for his quick wit. The question is, will Alex smile tomorrow on TDR Friday? You just never know these things, you see. Just incredible. Will Danielle be angry or will she want to help people? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who
Bit of a
knows?
twist on Saints or Ain't as well tomorrow again.
Ooh, I love
no.
it.
Oh, man.
I love a twist.
I hate
Came
that
to me
game.
today in a fit of light.
What are you talking about? You won last week, didn't you?
No, I
But you
didn't.
won.
Absolutely
won?
not. He
Who
did.
won?
Him with the Harry Potter on the
Alex.
bottom there.
Oh.
You see?
Harry
you all
Potter.
You all won. You tied.
How does man with glasses call man with glasses Harry Potter? What?
I mean, that's fair.
You
Man
all
with
won.
glasses.
You all tied last week, if you remember.
Oh, yeah,
rightly,
we're all winners, aren't we? Okay.
because
that's fine.
Paul had the question to win it, but failed.
All right, Billy. There's no fucking need for that. Jesus Christ, you talk about getting knifing through the heart. Wow. Wow.
I didn't say miserably at the end, did I? I just said failed.
Well, you had to remind me, Billy, of a painful night. Could have got my first ever win. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to you three. I don't know why I'm saying thank you, but you turned up. And thank you to the fantastic mod squad. But most of all, thank you to you guys out there, the fantastic viewers, because without you, this wouldn't be anything. We've had great viewing figures again tonight. So thank you very much. And you will see the four of us tomorrow night for the preview and, of course, TTR Friday. But in the meantime, guys, have a great Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.
That is.